If you can't do anything about it, then don't worry about it. Today I want to talk to you guys about insecurity. I want to first off start by saying that it's very normal to be insecure about something. It's your mind telling you, hey, maybe there's something that we can change here. And in most cases, the things that you're insecure about, you can change. In most cases. And I'll tell you what some of the insecurities that guys have are, as a guy myself. Your appearance in terms of your weight. Because I remember when I was a chubby bastard, I was constantly insecure. You know, are people going to notice that I'm out of breath? Are people going to notice how saggy my chest is? You know, are people going to notice how fat my legs are? You know, that was many, many years ago. But it was something that I thought about. My face looks chubby. Are they going to notice my double chin? Another insecurity, money. You know? A lot of guys are worried that if they take a girl out on a date and she starts asking them about what they do and they're not proud of where they are in life and they're not making the money that they want to make, they're afraid that maybe the girl will look down on them. And so I'm going to talk about a few of these. However, there are insecurities that you can't change, such as your height, which is determined by your genetics. Now, I know there are procedures nowadays where you can break your legs, basically, and then they put like a steel rod in there, and you're basically incapacitated for like 6 months. You're in a wheelchair, waiting for the bone to regrow. But that's horrible, guys. I do not encourage you to go down that road. Be proud of the way God created you. I mean, I'm sure if you ask most guys, if you were given the ability to change anything about you, would you? I think if we're keeping it real, most guys will be like, yeah, man, if only I was a couple of inches taller, or if only, you know, I could do this or do that. You know, there will be things that most guys will probably change about themselves. But as I've matured, I've realized that, you know what? It's not the insecurity that you're really worried about. As in, it's not the thing that you want to change. It's more so the perception that you feel other people will have of your insecurity. I'm going to say that one more time. It's not the actual insecurity itself. It's more so the perception you have of what other people think of the insecurity. So, for example, the height thing. If there were no women on this planet and it was just you wandering around with your homies, I'm sure it won't bother you as much. But because you want to attract a woman into your life, then you're worried that maybe she won't find me attractive because of my height. So it's not necessarily the actual insecurity. It's more so what you think other people will think of the insecurity. Okay? But I'll tell you this, man. One thing I've realized is that if we're talking about women, for example, they don't care as much as you think. I mean, I've seen some beautiful women with guys that are on the shorter side. And I could tell you this, those guys are extremely charismatic, extremely confident, and they don't give a fuck about their height. They don't. They're like, well, this is the way God created me, so I'm not going to stress about it. Now, if you find a guy that can't stop talking about how short he is, that's going to be repulsive to women. Now, look, I'll be honest with you. Not every woman will decide to go out on a date with you if they know your height beforehand. Some of them will be like, nah, you're too short. That's just the reality of life, bro. Some women don't like dudes with dark hair or don't like dudes that are, you know. Women have their own preferences. Okay? So I'm not telling you that every woman, some of them won't want to go out on a date with you because of your height. It's just a harsh pill that you have to swallow. But that's not all women. I don't want you to go down that dark road of being very black-pilled, as they like to call it, right? Where you're just so negative and you've given up because a couple of women have decided not to go out on a date with you, or maybe they mentioned how short you were or whatever, right? So I don't want you to go down that road. I just don't want you to worry about something you can't change. It is what it is, champ. What you can change is the way that you look. Now, if you're a slightly shorter fella, and by the way, I get messages from guys that are like, hey, Ali, I'm 5'8", and, you know, I feel so short. I'm like, bro, if we're taking the global average, That's probably right around the global average. Maybe even slightly taller than the global average. Nah, actually, to be fair, 5'8" sounds about right. In some countries, I know the men are shorter than 5'8". And obviously in parts of the world, such as Holland, I think in Holland, people, the average guy is about 6 foot, 6'1", something like that. But globally, the average is around 5'8". So you're not as short as you think you are in most cases. You're taller than most women if you're 5'8". You are. Now, of course, there are going to be taller women, right? But, you know, that shouldn't worry you, bro. There's so many women out there that will be attracted to your height. There will be. And most of the celebrities that women find attractive, the likes of Justin Bieber, I think, Zayn Malik, those guys, you know, they're not exactly 6'5", built like tanks. No, they're like 5'7", 5'8". Or maybe like slightly taller, maybe like 5'9". But they're not as tall as you think they are. Zac Efron, I think he's like 5'8", 5'9". Tom Cruise, I think he's like 5'5", actually 5'6". He's a good-looking fella. He is. And he doesn't give a fuck. Have you ever seen an interview where Tom Cruise is like, yeah, I'm really short and it's really been a difficulty for me in life? They don't give a shit. So I don't want you to focus on this thing that you cannot change. Now, if you're short and fat, well, then you can do something about that. You can do something about the fat I'm talking. Okay, I'm not talking about the height. So what I want you to do, if you're short and you're fat, hit the gym. Trust me, if you're short and ripped, you're going to be attractive to a lot of women. You will be. Kevin Hart, great example. Now you might be thinking, well, Ali, they're rich too. Well, okay, well then get rich then. Fucking hell. Don't be pessimistic now. Make more money. You don't have to be Kevin Hart level rich. But if you make 6 figures and you're 5'6", but you're 12% body fat, I tell you what, you're not going to have a shortage of options. I'm just keeping it real, man. So if it's something you can change, such as your weight, which you can, there should be no reason why you're like 5'6" and 95 kg and 30% body fat. Bro, that's embarrassing. You know, and it's embarrassing if you're 5'11" and 30% body fat. So I'm not just saying it's embarrassing if you're short, right? But the least you could do is hit the gym and get in shape. Okay? And going back to what I was saying earlier, women don't care as much as you think they do. If you don't give a fuck about it, she won't focus on it as much. Now, yeah, some women will say, I want to wear heels. I want a guy to be taller than me so that when I wear heels, I'm still shorter than him. Cool. You can't have it all. But I'm sure there'll be a woman that doesn't mind. Right? Take care of the overall package. Get in shape. Make more money. Have an interesting life. Because if you take care of every aspect of your life, overall, as a package, you'll be a lot more attractive. Okay, so I'm not saying that if you get in shape and you're a short dude, then automatically now every woman's going to be flooding to you. No. But overall, if you're in shape, you've got a successful business, even if you're 5'6", 5'7", you'll get loads of options, bro. All right? The money thing I spoke about, you know, and this is an insecurity I had in my early 20s, especially when I got to know a girl and I got into a relationship. I was worried that I'm not as financially capable as what she could probably get, because I was young and she was young, and I thought to myself, damn, man, I mean, there are dudes that are making more than me right now, and she could probably get into a settled relationship with a guy who's got an apartment and this and that, and I'm just still trying to figure my life out. So it was a bit of an insecurity for me, I'll be honest with you guys, for quite a while. And I went through some rough patches, and I felt like, shit, man, she'll probably bounce. Now, she wasn't a money-focused girl, bless her, right? She wasn't. But it was an insecurity of mine which did have an impact on the relationship. It did, because that conversation was brought up a few times. But because of the way I saw the insecurity, it affected her. Now, if I didn't give a fuck and I was like, yeah, you know, I'll figure this shit out, and I was a lot more relaxed about it, she wouldn't have cared so much. But because I stressed about it so much, I could see how it then impacted her as well. She has had doubts about the future and my ability to provide, etc., etc. So it's not necessarily the actual money thing. It's how you feel about it, okay? Because if you have a plan of action as to how you're going to tackle your money problems and you start working towards it, then you will reassure this woman. Because most women don't care about money in the way that you think they do. Yes, they prefer if a guy has a nice amount of money in the bank, a nice apartment and a nice car. But guys that say women just want guys who are millionaires, they want that. But if you're not, I mean, the average guy, for example, in the United Kingdom makes about 30,000, 40,000 a year. And I see plenty of men who make around that money with beautiful women. And if you're making 60, 70, 80, well then now you're putting yourself into an even smaller category of men. So you don't need to be 100 million a year rich to be able to attract women. Nah, bro. You don't need as much money as you think. Most women, as long as you can provide for her in terms of a place that you live in, and ideally, if you're renting, for example, I always tell you fellas, cover the rent entirely, all of the bills. You want to live in abundance. It's more so the mindset. You want to create a calm and relaxed environment for your woman to live in. You want to bring her into your world that you have already created. I don't want you to live in scarcity and think, oh no, I paid this much, because it will just create problems down the line, brother. It will. So I don't want you to be the kind of guy that counts pennies, which is why I tell you, if you're broke, don't get into a relationship right now. Put yourself in a good position. Good doesn't mean 100 mil a year. Good means I've got my own place, got my own car, I can depend on myself, I can comfortably bring a woman into my life, take care of the both of us. Obviously within reason. I'm not saying you guys are going to buy, you're going to go to the Apple store, buy everything, you're going to go to all of these expensive furniture stores, buy everything. Nah, obviously within reason, but you can provide a good life. You can go on a few flights a year to nice places, right? So get yourself in a good position. But women don't care as much as you think they do. They don't. Your view on it is what's hindering your progress. You thinking that all women are gold diggers is what's sabotaging your interactions with women. You thinking that your height is a big issue is what's making it an issue. Now, if you didn't give a fuck and you were like, hey, this is the way God created me, it is what it is, champ. Well, all I can do now is get in shape and make some money. And, the right woman will come along. That's a good attitude. That's not a defeatist attitude. That is a very healthy, positive attitude. And your energy is very important, fellas. Your energy will either attract or repel opportunities in the form of financial and also in the form of romantic. If you have a defeatist mindset where you think that there's no hope and your height will never enable you to get into a relation, then, the likelihood of you sabotaging is very high. Right? If you think there's a shortage of money and the rich are getting richer and there's no hope for us normal people, then you ain't going to make any money. You need to have optimism in order to attract opportunities. And whatever you can't change, you don't worry about. I don't control what the government does. I can't control how tall I am. All I can control is making better financial decisions. And when it comes to physicality, getting in shape, eating a nice healthy diet, that's all I can focus on. That's it. All right? So don't stress, my brother. Don't worry about it. Remember, the way you view the insecurity will determine what the woman will think of it in the context of relationships, right? So don't stress about it. And you know what? I want you to appreciate the way God created you, because these imperfections make us unique, man. I see so many of these videos now circulating on Twitter of guys going to Turkey, getting their nose done. And it's so sad because a lot of these guys, the way they looked beforehand was great, man. They had some strong features that made them look so unique. And then they go to Turkey and they just basically get the same old nose that everybody now is getting, that slanted nose. And it's very feminine looking, in my opinion. I mean, I've got a fucking massive nose and I'm proud of it. You know what I'm saying? And, I've seen a lot of women say that they like guys with big noses, right? So you might think, what? How does that make sense? I thought, bro, trust me. Your imperfection right now, a woman will find that attractive. She will. She might find the way your ear points out very attractive, or the way your nose slants very attractive. A lot of these tough guys that have had broken noses because of MMA fights and shit, a lot of these guys have beautiful women by their sides. Women like that rugged, tough look. If you're bold, You might think, oh, that's the end of the world, man. I'm bold and no woman's going to find me attractive. If you're bold and ripped, a lot of women are going to find you attractive. I'm telling you right now. If anything, you probably have an advantage over a lot of guys that are full of hair at the top, but skinny bastards, frail. If you're bold and in shape, man, you give off that I can handle any scenario, that Jason Statham. Which way do you want to take? We could take the easy way or the hard way. You know, the transporter. Or that Dwayne Johnson look, that Vin Diesel look. Come on, man. All right? So embrace it, man. Your imperfections make you you. Make you unique, brother. You don't want to be a copycat the same as everybody else, bro. Embrace your uniqueness. Thank God for the way he created you. And if you're in health, man, if you're a healthy individual, you should be even more grateful. Because you could have a neuroimmune disease or cancer of some sorts. And so, you know, whenever you are in good health, be thankful. Be thankful, man. Those little complaints, if you were seriously sick right now, do you honestly think you'd be worried about the way your nose slants slightly? Nah, you just want to be healthy again. You know, these little things don't matter. But the things that do matter are your health, your overall well-being. That matters more. Alright? So hopefully this video has alleviated some of your anxiety about your insecurities, man. If it has, let me know what you think down below. Drop a comment. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like. And if you're new here, smash that subscribe button. We're almost at 10K now. See you in the next video, fellas.